Ever since the dawn of time, our universe has been a source of wonder and mystery. No matter how clever we are or how much we research, some phenomena will always elude our understanding.
Where is Malaysia Airlines Flight 370?
Nobody expects a 777 to vanish. It just doesn't happen.
From unexplained events, ancient secrets, to phenomena so bewildering that the U.S. authorities kept this secret for 80 years. Join us as we show you 20 of the most fascinating and unsolved mysteries. Number 20. Beal Ciphers. In 1822, a man named Thomas Jefferson Beal left a box in the care of a local innkeeper, promising to return for it later. The innkeeper, Robert Morris, waited for years, but Beal never returned. When Morris finally opened the box, he discovered 3 pages of seemingly incomprehensible text. It wasn't until decades later that the first cipher was cracked, revealing an incredible secret. Beal had buried a treasure worth millions somewhere in Bedford County. The decoded message listed the contents of the treasure, including gold, silver, and jewels, estimated to be worth over $40 million today. However, the location of the treasure remains a mystery, as the second cipher, which allegedly contains the precise coordinates, has never been solved. The third cipher, believed to list the names of Beal's companions and their next of kin, also remains an enigma. Over the years, countless treasure hunters and cryptographers have attempted to decipher the remaining messages, hoping to uncover the fortune. Theories abound, with some suggesting that the ciphers are a hoax, while others believe that the key to decoding them lies within the Declaration of Independence or other historical documents. Number 19. Disappearance of the Sodder family. On Christmas Eve, 1945, a tragedy struck the Sodder family in Fayetteville, West Virginia. A fire engulfed their home, and 5 of the 10 Sodder children were never found. The circumstances surrounding the incident and the subsequent investigation have led to decades of speculation and conspiracy theories. The night of the fire, George and Jenny Sodder, along with 9 of their 10 children, were asleep in the house. Around 1 a.m., Jenny was awakened by a phone call, but the line went dead. Later, she noticed the lights were still on and the curtains were not drawn, which was unusual. Suddenly, she heard a loud bang on the roof and discovered the house was on fire. George and Jenny escaped with 4 of their children, but the other 5 were nowhere to be found. Despite the fire department's efforts, the house collapsed, and no remains of the missing children were discovered. Strangely, the fire had only burned the top floor, and the downstairs remained intact. In the aftermath, the police and fire department concluded that the fire was electrical, and the children had perished in the blaze. However, the Sodders noticed several suspicious details, such as the missing ladder that always leaned against the house, a cut phone line, and the presence of a man watching the house before the fire. Years later, the Sodders received a mysterious photograph of a young man resembling one of their missing sons. They believed that their children had been kidnapped and were still alive. Theories emerged, suggesting that the children had been taken by the mafia or that the fire was connected to George's outspoken criticism of Mussolini and the Italian government. Despite numerous investigations and searches, no conclusive evidence has been found to explain what happened to the 5 Sodder children that fateful night. Number 18. Mystery of the Ghost Blimp. On August 16, 1942, a U.S. Navy blimp designated L-8 took off from Treasure Island in San Francisco Bay for a routine anti-submarine patrol off the coast of California. The blimp was manned by 2 experienced pilots, Lieutenant Ernest DeWitt Cody and Ensign Charles Ellis Adams. However, a few hours into the mission, the L-8 drifted back over land and crashed in a street in Daly City, California. When Navy personnel arrived at the crash site, they discovered that the blimp was intact, but the crew was missing. The doors were open, the radio was functioning, and the emergency life raft was still on board. There were no signs of a struggle or any indication of what might have happened to Cody and Adams. An extensive search was conducted, but no trace of the missing pilots was ever found. Theories ranging from a daring escape to enemy capture or even alien abduction have been proposed, but no conclusive evidence has emerged to support any of these ideas. The mysterious disappearance of the L-8 crew has become known as the Ghost Blimp incident and remains one of the most puzzling aviation mysteries of World War II. Number 17. Flann and Isle Mystery. In December 1900, 3 lighthouse keepers stationed on the remote Flann and Isles off the west coast of Scotland vanished without a trace. James Duckett, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur were the only inhabitants of the small island of Eileen Moor, where they manned the lighthouse. On December 26, a relief boat arrived at the island and discovered that the lighthouse was unattended. A subsequent search revealed that the 3 men were nowhere to be found. Inside the lighthouse, the table was set for a meal, and a chair had been overturned. The men's oilskins and boots were left behind, suggesting they had ventured out in a hurry. Theories about the fate of the lighthouse keepers have ranged from a giant wave washing them out to sea to a murder-suicide pact, or even supernatural intervention. Some have speculated that the men may have been swept away by a freak wave while attempting to secure equipment during a storm. However, no bodies were ever recovered, and the true cause of their disappearance remains a mystery. The Flann and Isle mystery has become a famous ghost story and the subject of numerous books, articles, and fictionalized accounts. The incident highlights the isolation and dangers faced by lighthouse keepers in the early 20th century. Number 16. Jack the Ripper. In the foggy streets of London's East End, a sinister figure lurked in the shadows during the autumn of 1888. Known only by the moniker Jack the Ripper, this unidentified serial killer terrorized the Whitechapel district, brutally murdering at least 5 women and leaving a trail of mystery and horror in his wake. The Ripper's victims were all female prostitutes, and their bodies were found mutilated in a disturbingly similar manner. The killer's signature was a deep slash across the throat, followed by the removal of internal organs. The precision of the cuts led many to believe that the perpetrator had surgical knowledge. The police investigation into the murders was extensive, with numerous suspects questioned and hundreds of people interviewed. However, despite the efforts of law enforcement and the public's fascination with the case, Jack the Ripper's true identity has never been conclusively established. Over the years, countless theories have emerged, pointing to various suspects, including a member of the royal family, a renowned artist, and even a woman. Some have suggested that the Ripper was a doctor or a butcher, given the anatomical nature of the mutilations. Others have speculated that the killer may have had a connection to the Freemasons or other secret societies. The case remains one of the most famous unsolved crimes in history, and the Ripper's identity continues to be a subject of fascination and speculation. Number 15. Shrewsbury Inscription. The tranquil gardens of Shrewsbury Hall in Staffordshire, England, have been a hotspot for historians and code-breakers for centuries. Their focus is the Shepherd's Monument, an enigmatic 18th-century relief sculpture featuring a mirror-image copy of Nicolas Poussin's painting The Arcadian Shepherds. But the true point of focus is a cryptic inscription on the sculpture that has yet to be definitively deciphered. The inscription, located beneath the relief, consists of the letters OUOSVAVV, with the letters DM appearing on a lower plane. The strange arrangement of letters has led to numerous theories about their meaning, with some suggesting that they represent a coded message or a secret society's cipher. One popular theory proposes that the inscription is a coded reference to the Holy Grail or the treasures of the Knights Templar. Others have speculated that the letters might be an anagram or a form of steganography, hiding a message within the seemingly random sequence. Many attempts have been made to decipher the inscription, with some researchers claiming to have found connections to ancient Greek or Latin phrases. However, no conclusive interpretation has been widely accepted by scholars. The Shepherd's Monument has attracted the attention of numerous codebreakers and cryptographers over the years, including Charles Dickens and Charles Darwin's grandson. Despite their efforts, the true meaning behind the perplexing inscription remains a mystery. Some have suggested that the inscription may be nothing more than a folly or a practical joke created by the monument's commissioners, Thomas Anson and his friend George Anson. Number 14. Flight MH370. The disappearance of Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 on March 8, 2014, is one of the most perplexing and tragic aviation mysteries of the 21st century. The Boeing 777 aircraft, carrying 239 passengers and crew, vanished from radar screens while en route from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, to Beijing, China, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and heartbroken families. The flight took off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport at 12:41 a.m. local time and was scheduled to arrive in Beijing at 6:30 a.m. However, less than an hour into the journey, the plane lost contact with air traffic control over the South China Sea. The last communication from the aircraft was a routine "good night" message from the co-pilot. In the days and weeks following the disappearance, an extensive international search and rescue operation was launched, involving dozens of countries and covering a vast expanse of the Indian Ocean. Despite the efforts of ships, aircraft, and submarines equipped with advanced technology, no concrete evidence of the plane's whereabouts was found. As the search continued, various theories emerged to explain the plane's disappearance. Some suggested that the aircraft had experienced a catastrophic mechanical failure, while others speculated that it may have been hijacked or deliberately diverted by one of the pilots. The discovery of several pieces of debris, confirmed to be from MH370, on the shores of East Africa and nearby islands, only deepened the mystery, as they had drifted thousands of miles from the plane's last known location. Number 13. The disappearance of Walter Collins. In 1928, the disappearance of 9-year-old Walter Collins in Los Angeles, California, sparked a manhunt that captivated the nation. On March 10, Walter left his home to go to the movies but never returned. His mother, Christine Collins, reported him missing, and the Los Angeles Police Department began an extensive search. 5 months later, a boy claiming to be Walter was found in DeKalb, Illinois. Christine Collins was reunited with the boy, but she immediately insisted that he was not her son. Despite her protests, the LAPD pressured Christine to take the boy home. When she persisted in her claims, the police had her committed to a psychiatric ward. It was later discovered that the boy was an imposter named Arthur Hutchins Jr., who had claimed to be Walter to get a free trip to Hollywood. The LAPD's mishandling of the case, including their refusal to believe Christine Collins and their attempts to cover up their mistakes, led to public outrage and a formal inquiry. The fate of the real Walter Collins remains unknown, although some evidence suggests he may have fallen victim to the infamous Wineville chicken coop murders. Number 12. Vanishing of Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart, the pioneering American aviator, captured the world's imagination with her daring flights and unwavering determination. However, her final journey, an attempt to circumnavigate the globe in 1937, ended in one of the most enduring unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Earhart, accompanied by her navigator Fred Noonan, set out on a 29,000-mile journey in a specially equipped Lockheed Electra 10E. The pair had completed nearly two-thirds of the trip when they departed from Lae, New Guinea, on July 2, 1937, bound for Howland Island, a tiny speck of land in the central Pacific Ocean. As Earhart and Noonan approached Howland Island, they encountered difficulties in locating the small island due to navigational challenges and communication issues. The U.S. Coast Guard cutter Itasca, stationed near the island to assist the aviators, received several radio transmissions from Earhart indicating that they were running low on fuel and unable to find their destination. The last confirmed radio transmission from Earhart was received at 8:43 a.m. local time, with the haunting words, "We are running on line north and south." After that, the Itasca lost contact with the Electra, and Earhart and Noonan vanished without a trace. An extensive search and rescue operation was immediately launched, covering an area of 250,000 square miles. Ships and aircraft scoured the region for weeks, but no sign of the missing aviators or their plane was found. The official search was called off on July 19, 1937, and Earhart and Noonan were declared lost at sea. In the decades following their disappearance, numerous theories have emerged to explain the fate of Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan. Some believe that they ran out of fuel and crashed into the ocean, while others speculate that they may have landed on a different island, such as Gardner Island, and survived for a time as castaways. Other theories suggest that Earhart and Noonan were captured by the Japanese, who were expanding their influence in the Pacific at the time, or that they were involved in a secret mission for the US government and deliberately disappeared. Number 11. Lost Colony of Roanoke. In 1587, a group of English settlers led by Governor John White established the Roanoke colony on an island off the coast of present-day North Carolina. The colony consisted of 115 men, women, and children, including White's daughter, Eleanor Dare, and her newborn baby, Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the New World. White soon returned to England for supplies, but due to the ongoing war with Spain, he was unable to return to the colony for 3 years. When White finally reached Roanoke Island in 1590, he discovered that the entire colony had vanished without a trace. The only clue left behind was the word Croatan, carved into a post. White believed that the colonists might have sought shelter with the friendly Croatan tribe on nearby Hatteras Island, but he was unable to conduct a thorough search due to a brewing storm. The fate of the Roanoke colonists remains a mystery to this day, with theories ranging from assimilation into native tribes to falling victim to disease or violence. Despite numerous expeditions and archaeological digs, no conclusive evidence has been found to explain the disappearance of the lost colony. Number 10. Dyatlov Pass. In February 1959, a group of 9 experienced Russian hikers, led by Igor Dyatlov, embarked on a skiing expedition in the northern Ural Mountains. The team, consisting of 8 men and 1 woman, were all students or graduates of the Ural Polytechnical Institute. On the night of February 1, something caused the hikers to flee their tent in a state of undress and without their shoes, despite the frigid temperatures reaching -22 degrees Fahrenheit. Investigators later discovered the hikers' bodies scattered across the slope, some with fatal injuries such as fractured skulls and broken ribs. Strangely, the bodies showed no signs of struggle, and some were found wearing only their underwear. Soviet authorities initially declared that an unknown compelling force had caused the deaths, fueling speculation about paranormal involvement. Theories have ranged from an avalanche to military experiments gone awry, but the true cause of the Dyatlov Pass incident remains a mystery. The case has inspired countless books, documentaries, and even a Hollywood film, cementing its place as one of the most intriguing and enduring unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Number 9. The Dancing Plague. In the summer of 1518, the city of Strasbourg, France, was struck by a bizarre and unexplained phenomenon known as the Dancing Plague. It began when a woman named Frau Trophea stepped into the street and started dancing fervently, seemingly unable to stop. Within a week, dozens of others had joined her, and by the end of the month, the streets were filled with hundreds of people dancing uncontrollably. The dancing continued for days, and in some cases weeks, with participants dancing until they collapsed from exhaustion, stroke, or heart attack. Some danced so vigorously that their feet became bruised and bloody. Local authorities, at a loss for how to address the situation, hired musicians to accompany the dancers, believing that the plague would run its course. The cause of the dancing plague remains a mystery, with theories ranging from mass psychogenic illness to ergot poisoning from contaminated rye bread. Some even speculate that it may have been a form of religious mania or a response to the extreme stress and hardship faced by the people of Strasbourg during that time. Number 8. Tunguska Event. On June 30, 1908, a massive explosion rocked a remote region of Siberia near the Tunguska River. The blast flattened an estimated 80 million trees over an area of 830 square miles, with the force of the explosion estimated to be equivalent to 10 to 15 megatons of TNT, roughly 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Despite the scale of the event, no crater was ever found, leading to a wide range of theories about its cause. The most widely accepted explanation is that a meteor or comet, measuring around 330 feet in diameter, entered the Earth's atmosphere and exploded several miles above the surface. Alternative theories suggest that the explosion could have been caused by a chunk of antimatter, a mini black hole, or even an extraterrestrial spacecraft. The remote location and the limited scientific tools available at the time have made it challenging to determine the exact cause of the Tunguska Event. Number 7. Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin, a centuries-old linen cloth bearing the image of a crucified man, has been a source of fascination and mystery for generations. Many believe the shroud to be the burial cloth of Jesus Christ, miraculously imprinted with his image at the moment of resurrection. The 14-foot-long cloth displays the front and back impressions of a man's body, with wounds consistent with crucifixion. First documented in 1353, the shroud's early history is uncertain. It was acquired by the House of Savoy in 1453, later moving to Turin, Italy in 1578. It remains housed in Turin Cathedral to this day. Claims of its authenticity as Jesus's actual burial cloth have sparked intense scientific study. Despite numerous scientific investigations, the origin and nature of the image remain contested. Carbon dating tests in 1998 suggested the shroud originated in the Middle Ages, but some argue the results were skewed by contamination. Proponents point to the image's unique properties, such as its three-dimensional encoding and lack of pigments, as evidence of its authenticity. While the Catholic Church has never officially endorsed the shroud as a holy relic, it continues to be an object of veneration and a source of spiritual inspiration for many. Number 6. Pascagoula UFO abduction. On the evening of October 11, 1973, two shipyard workers, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, were fishing on the banks of the Pascagoula River in Mississippi when they claimed to have been abducted by aliens. According to their account, a glowing, egg-shaped craft landed near them, and three humanoid beings, each about 5 feet tall with wrinkled gray skin and claw-like hands, emerged from the vessel. The creatures allegedly paralyzed Hickson and Parker with some sort of beam and levitated them into the craft, where they were subjected to a physical examination before being released. After reporting the incident to the local sheriff's department, Hickson and Parker were left alone in a room with a hidden microphone, which recorded their conversation as they discussed the terrifying experience. The two men later passed polygraph tests, adding credibility to their story. The Pascagoula UFO abduction case gained international attention and remains one of the most well-known and influential alleged alien encounters in history. While skeptics argue that the incident could be attributed to a hoax or hallucination, the case continues to be a topic of fascination and debate among UFO enthusiasts and researchers alike. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In the early 20th century, reports of giant bones surfaced throughout the United States. These stories eventually led researchers and archaeologists to the Grand Canyon in 1940. There, they discovered a series of caves and artifacts. Some reports claimed the discovery of unusually large skeletons within the canyon's caves, skeletons over 8 feet in height. However, as these reports gained attention, the government increased its presence in the area. Access for the public and other researchers was restricted, and reports of discoveries within the canyons seemed to systematically disappear. Then, in 2020, whistleblowers began to speak out. They described the discovery of 3 complete giant skeletons in the canyon. The U.S. authorities kept this secret for 80 years. These reports further claim that the archaeological finds were removed and taken to an undisclosed location, rather than being sent to a museum. Some speculate that the bones may be undergoing secret research or experimentation. Could these reports of giant skeletons be true, or are they simply a hoax? Let us know in the comments. Number 5. WOW signal. In August 1977, astronomer Jerry R. Amon was working on a SETI search for extraterrestrial intelligence project at the Big Ear Radio Telescope in Ohio when he came across a remarkable signal. The signal, which lasted for 72 seconds, was so strong and unusual that Amon circled it on the computer printout and wrote WOW next to it, giving the signal its famous name. The WOW signal was detected at a frequency of 1-420 MHz, which is significant because it is the frequency at which hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe, emits radiation. This frequency has been suggested as a potential universal frequency for communication between intelligent civilizations. The signal's strength and duration were consistent with the expected signature of an interstellar signal, leading many to believe that it could be evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence. Despite numerous attempts to detect the signal again, the WOW signal has never been replicated, and its origin remains a mystery. Some researchers have proposed that the signal could have come from a passing comet or an Earth-based source, such as a spy satellite. However, these explanations have been largely dismissed, as they do not fully account for the signal's unique characteristics. Number 4. Kentucky Meat Shower. On March 3, 1876, the residents of Olympia Springs in Bath County, Kentucky, experienced a bizarre phenomenon that would come to be known as the Kentucky Meat Shower. For several minutes, chunks of fresh meat, ranging in size from small squares to large pieces measuring up to 4 inches square, fell from the sky. The meat, which was described as having a rancid odor, covered an area of about 100 yards by 50 yards. Upon examination, 2 local men tasted the meat and determined that it was either lamb or venison. However, no logical explanation for the source of the meat could be found, as there were no reports of missing livestock or game in the area. Several theories have been proposed to explain the Kentucky Meat Shower, including the idea that a group of vultures might have disgorged their recent meals while flying over the area. Another theory suggests that a large pack of buzzards might have regurgitated the meat after being startled. However, these explanations are largely speculative and do not fully account for the amount and distribution of the meat that fell. To this day, the Kentucky Meat Shower remains one of the strangest and most inexplicable events in the annals of unexplained phenomena. Number 3. D.B. Cooper. On November 24, 1971, a man using the alias Dan Cooper hijacked a Boeing 727 aircraft flying from Portland, Oregon, to Seattle, Washington. After the plane landed in Seattle, Cooper demanded and received $200,000 in ransom money and 4 parachutes. He then ordered the plane to take off again, with a flight plan heading towards Mexico City. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Nevada, Cooper lowered the rear stairs of the plane and parachuted out into the night sky with the ransom money. Despite an extensive manhunt and investigation by the FBI, Cooper was never found, and his true identity remains unknown. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged about Cooper's identity and fate. Some believe he may have been a disgruntled former paratrooper or an airline employee with knowledge of the plane's systems. Others speculate that he may not have survived the jump, given the challenging weather conditions and terrain in the area where he is believed to have landed. Number 2. The Holy Grail. The Holy Grail, the legendary chalice that Jesus Christ supposedly used during the Last Supper, has captivated the imaginations of people for centuries. According to Christian tradition, the Grail was also used by Joseph of Arimathea to collect Jesus' blood during his crucifixion. The Grail's alleged mystical properties and its promise of eternal life have made it an object of fascination and the subject of countless literary works, including the Arthurian legends. Throughout history, many have claimed to possess or have knowledge of the Grail's whereabouts. Some believe that the Knights Templar discovered the Grail during the Crusades and secretly guarded it for centuries. Others speculate that it may be hidden in various locations, such as Glastonbury Abbey in England, the Cathedral de Valencia in Spain, or even Fort Knox in the United States. However, despite numerous expeditions, excavations, and searches, the Holy Grail's existence and location remain a mystery. Number 1. Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant, a sacred relic mentioned in the Hebrew Bible, has captivated the imagination of people for millennia. Believed to be a gold-covered wooden chest containing the stone tablets inscribed with the 10 Commandments, the Ark is shrouded in mystery and has been the subject of countless legends and theories. According to biblical accounts, the Ark was constructed by the Israelites under the guidance of Moses during their exodus from Egypt. It was said to possess immense spiritual power, serving as a symbol of God's presence among his people. The Ark was carried into battles, and its presence was believed to ensure victory for the Israelites. The last known location of the Ark, as mentioned in the Bible, was in the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem. However, the Babylonian invasion and the destruction of the First Temple in 586 BC mark the beginning of the Ark's disappearance from historical records. Its fate has remained a mystery ever since. Throughout history, numerous theories and legends have emerged regarding the whereabouts of the Ark of the Covenant. Some believe that it was hidden by the prophet Jeremiah before the Babylonian conquest, and that it remains buried in a secret location near Jerusalem. Others speculate that the Ark was removed from Jerusalem and taken to Ethiopia, where it is allegedly kept in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Axum. Another prominent theory suggests that the Ark was hidden beneath the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, in a secret chamber known as the Well of Souls. Some researchers have claimed that the Ark may have been discovered during the Crusades and subsequently taken to Europe, where it was lost or hidden. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.